Hi everyone, welcome back to my podcast Vibes Digest. It's your host Cameron St. Clair, or welcome to my podcast if you guys are new here. Thank you guys so much for listening. I cannot believe that I'm on episode 2 right now of my very own podcast. First of all, thank you guys for those who listened to episode 1, all about Tyler the Creator's album, Chromacopia. I received such great positive feedback. A lot of people were like, wait, this podcast makes perfect sense for you. Like, I'm not surprised whatsoever. And a lot of people were also telling me like how much they were learning off of that first episode, the breakdown of that album. So that means a whole lot. I'm not gonna lie with y'all. When I was editing, it was a little bit rough because I'm used to visuals, okay? I'm a TikToker, I'm a YouTuber, so I'm used to like my facial expressions being funny, and I do post on YouTube for this podcast. I believe it's Vibes Digest Pod on YouTube, but I'm not used to just strictly audio. You're not watching me, you're not seeing my hand movements, you're not seeing my head move back and forth, you're just hearing my voice. So there was like some moments in the pod I was like, wait, I sound super shy right now. Like, that's not my personality. If you know me on social media, you know that this is my personality, exactly how I'm acting right now. I just need to make sure I'm able to translate that through audio. But you know what, let me not even be too hard on myself because you can only get better, right? Right. Okay, so again, like I was saying in the first episode, I talked about Chromacopia. And I promised to give you guys my top 5 songs for Chromacopia. I do keep my promises, so here are my top 5 songs. In no particular order though, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I need to listen a little bit more before I can say, okay, this is song number 1, this is song number 2. It just hasn't been enough time for me quite yet, but it's Sticky, Hey Jane, Darling I, Thought I Was Dead, and Saint Chroma. Now, I can definitely confirm that Darling I and Saint Chroma is definitely my top 3. I just don't know, again, like, what's 1, what's 3. Why did my sister Ava, she's 12 by the way, my sister Ava literally called me basic for saying that Darling I was more than likely my favorite song off this album. Basic? I think it's a great song. I love a little R&B song, and I love when Tyler taps into the R&B genre. I cannot believe a 12-year-old was eating me up and was like, really? Darling I? That's everyone's favorite song. You're basic. She ate me up so bad. Oh my gosh. But it seems like fans really enjoyed his album because holy crap, you guys, he had 300,000 sales first week dropping on a Monday. Now, I don't believe I'm wrong when I say this, but you can fact check me. He lost 2 days in those first week sales because he didn't drop on a Friday, which means Saturday and Sunday was not included. So in 5 days, he sold 300,000 copies. What? That's insane. In 2024, literally hip hop has been struggling all year, I feel like, to really sell records. And he sold 300,000. Wow. That's impressive. He also hit number 1 on the Billboard charts. But honestly, like, I'm not surprised. I'm just happy that people are finally giving him his well-deserved flowers. It's about time. I mean, yes, we can always say that Tyler was mainstream, but I just feel like people weren't respecting him as much as they should have, you know? Now, this is what's going to lead me to what I'm about to say now, and I know it's going to be a hot take. You're going to be like, girl, what are you talking about? So you remember that whole rap beef that took place in the springtime? Yes, with Drake and Kendrick, we all remember. And you remember how J. Cole inserted himself into the rap beef and then said, actually, let me exit, remove myself, this has nothing to do with me, although it kind of did have a lot to do with him. Yeah, and you know how everybody's response was like, you are no longer a part of the big 3. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you are now removed. We can't take you seriously. Blah, 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 blah. Well, if the spot is open, dare I say, Tyler the Creator should be potentially discussed as replacing J. Cole in the big 3. Is that a crazy thing to say? I mean, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Also, you guys, he not only wrote all of his songs, he also produced all of his songs. Drake can't say that. Oh, was that rude? Was that shady? Okay. I just think this is a conversation that's worth having. I feel like Tyler the Creator absolutely deserves to be in the big 3 if we're removing J. Cole. If we feel like J. Cole cannot be in the big 3, why can't we add Tyler? Why can't Tyler be the replacement? Is that too much West Coast energy? I don't know. I think he deserves it. But no, shout out to Tyler, man. I'm such a big fan. And honestly, I might have to buy a ticket. I know. Last week I was saying, dang, Tyler, you made the tickets available when rent was due. Your girl might have to get a ticket because I know that performance is going to go absolutely insane. Okay, let's go back to talking about the big three. And I want to go into my vibe spotlight. If you guys aren't familiar with this segment, basically a vibe spotlight is just me highlighting an artist of the week. And currently I want to talk about Drake. Yeah, it's time to talk about Drake. He once again dropped another song. Well, it wasn't even a song officially. I believe that he was just like previewing a song, October's Very Own. I don't think that's the name of the song, but I know that's like his Instagram account and his brand and blah, 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 OVO. But I think it's interesting that nobody was really talking about it. What happened to Drake's music? If anything, a lot of people were saying a lot of negative stuff and was just saying like, oh, his music isn't hitting the same. He had like a big feature, I want to say a week or two ago. Nobody was talking about that. He dropped 100 gigs. Silence. Like people spoke about it for maybe a day, if that. But again, the reviews weren't positive. Did Kendrick leave a forever lasting print on Drake in the way that he drops music? Is Drake no longer able to have a successful drop anymore? Are people no longer listening? Like, what is the culture saying right now? I'm only asking because these last couple drops has been flops. He's low-key in his flop era, if we're being honest. If I was Drake, I would stop dropping music. I would take a break. I would take a long enough break where it's like, oh, okay, this is his comeback, right? Like, currently, he's still throwing a little bit of jabs at people, you know, calling folks fake. They're not my friends. I don't need new friends. We heard you, Drake. We heard you. But the music is still not sticking, right? Even like this little preview that he did, there were folks in the comments actually cracking me up. I'm not gonna lie. They were like, oh, hell, here he comes again, talking tough, Mr. Tough Guy. Nobody's believing what you're selling, babe. And that's like, I'm not even trying to be shady, but I just think we like a certain sound from Drake. Nobody wants Mr. Tough Guy Drake, unless 21 Savage is on the song. And primarily that's probably because we're listening to 21 more than you. But nobody wants Mr. Tough Drake. We like a certain sound from Drake. He makes music for the bad bees. I'm not trying to curse, but you know what I'm trying to say. He makes music for a certain category of people. Nobody wants to hear fake hard Drake. And I think that might be the issue here. He's trying to like stick on to this like one particular sound. Let's go back to Views. You remember that album? That album, in my opinion, is honestly his best album. It's my favorite album. We love that side of Drake. What? Redemption. Actually, I don't know. I don't remember how that goes. Let me not even try to sing it. But no, I just wanted to like basically pose a question. Do we think that Kendrick has left a lasting impression on Drake's reputation in the music industry, in the culture, and yeah, and just overall, like, it just feels like nobody's really respecting him and respecting his drops, and nobody's really listening to it. People are still listening to Drake, don't get me wrong. I'm in the clubs, I hear Drake still. We all hear Drake still. Nobody's listening to Drake's music, I feel like, from the beef, unless you're a diehard Drake fan. But your average music listener, I feel like if they're listening to Drake, they're listening to old school Drake. Like one of his like popular, like, one of his popular collabs, right? But like his new stuff, nobody's really biting on it. And I just think that's interesting. Like, not enough people are talking about the long-lasting impacts of this beef. Yeah, he's had a rough year, we know. Yeah, Kendrick's about to do the Super Bowl. Grammy nominations is coming out. How much you want to bet They Not Like Us is going to be nominated? Let's be real. But I just think it's interesting that not a lot of people are talking about Drake in the way that they used to, and his music isn't selling like it used to. All right, so the next segment is Digital Digest. Digital Digest is essentially me talking about everything that's been trending on social media. And honey, there has been so much trending on social media. Literally, my notes app has been jam-packed. But I'm just going to touch on two major topics. Number one, Young Thug is free, y'all. He's free. Woo! So exciting, so exciting. Yes, we are all very happy because he beat that case. It wasn't looking too good for a little while. But you know what? I'm also a little nervous, and I feel like not enough people are talking about this either. Young Thug received 15 years of probation. Do you know how long 15 years is? 2039 is when he'll be officially off probation. Holy crap. The moment, and no room for negotiation, might I add, the moment he slips up, God forbid he slips up, that's 20 years in prison. I am so surprised that he even accepted this plea deal. I'm very surprised because from what I was understanding in the clips that I was seeing, now granted I didn't read the case, but the clips I was seeing, it wasn't looking like the state had much. I thought there was going to be a mistrial. There was so much stuff going on. I definitely thought it was going to be a mistrial. I definitely thought the state was going to lose. I wonder if they like gathered a new piece of information. Like, what are we missing here? But I am genuinely shocked that Young Thug accepted a 15-year probation. Like, that feels like a setup. Is nobody else feeling that way? I feel like they're trying to set him up. Young Thug, I feel like at this point, he has to literally get rid of all his friends. You can't be around nobody. You cannot be slipping up whatsoever. I saw tweets, and it was kind of funny. They was like, you need to be the next Snoop Dogg. Yeah, you need to be Snoop Dogg 2.0, sir. 2.0. You need to, matter of fact, you need to go and take Mariah the Scientist with you and go on an island. Start a family. You probably have kids already, but start a family and just chill in like the Caribbean. You do not need to be, well, actually, he can't be anywhere near Atlanta, which was a little confusing. There was like, he's banned from Atlanta, but he also needs to go back, I think it was 3 or 4 times a year to do like charity work. And it was also hosting like fundraising. I think it was fundraising. It was concerts, but it was like charitable concerts, which is very confusing. It just feels like a setup. And my worst fear for Young Thug is that, let's say he does great for the first 10 years, gets too comfortable, gets the wrong person around him, slips up, now you're in jail for 20 years. Imagine, it's 2034, he's been doing so well, one slip up, now you're literally in prison until 2054. Holy crap, like 15-year probation. I don't think people are understanding. Like, I understand. Okay, let me backtrack. I do understand why everyone is so hyped and so excited for him. It's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. He's free. He's out of jail. That is amazing because nobody wants to obviously stay in there longer than they have to. I respect it. But I just wonder if like anybody is realizing how long that time is, knowing his history, knowing who he typically surrounds himself with. Is he prepared to like literally flip his life upside and down? Like, he can even make music. And granted, I don't feel like his music was strictly, well, actually, I don't know, because there was a couple songs that was mentioned during the court case that I was like, oh, is that what y'all was talking about? Oh, y'all was talking about Robin killing. Y'all was talking about allegedly talking about some crazy stuff. Yeah, I did not realize that. I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all. There's a couple of songs that's just like the Bobby Shmurda song. Like, I too did not realize what that song actually meant. I was dancing, but I did not understand what that song meant. He can't make that type of music anymore, Young Thug. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I will say, let's go back to Mariah. Mariah the Scientist has been on tour with Lotto, and a lot of fans are a little bit disappointed that she's starting to cancel more than one show to be near him. I get it, babes. Your man has been away for 2 years. With that being said, I understand the first night that he's released, you want to go be with your man. I get it. Go be with your man. But then go get back to work, babes. Like, he won't be there. Trust me. Trust me, Young Thug can't go nowhere. He can't go nowhere. I don't think he's on house arrest, though. Or he's allowed to travel for work. So maybe, I guess, the whole island idea, he might not be allowed to do that. He's not going nowhere. He's going to be home. Finish your tour. A lot of fans are really disappointed. I respect it because you miss your man. But, like, again, you get 24 hours and then you got to get back to work, baby. You got to get back to work. I did also see a tweet of his side chick, or who's allegedly his side chick. I don't know if that's true or not, or if it's just an Instagram girl trying to, like, you know, stir up the pot. But she was posting this whole, like, third shot pic with a sign that said Free Young Thug in the background, and everybody was making wind of it, like, oh my gosh, this is his side girl, like, oh my gosh, poor Mariah the scientist. First of all, having a side chick while you're in jail is crazy, number one. Number two, having a girl alone still while you're in jail is crazy. But also shame on you, side chick. You know who Mariah is. You know that they're together. Girl, don't make this about you. Know your place. Literally, that's just my point of view of the situation. If you're the side girl, you know your role. You know your place. Why would you embarrass a main girl? I hate that. I hate that so bad. I'm very against cheating. But also we don't know their relationship dynamics. He's also a rapper. And one thing everyone needs to just start to get in their head, every entertainment person, 9 times out of 10, they're cheating. They have multiple. Nobody's really monogamous in California. In Hollywood and entertainment, literally no one's monogamous. I promise you. I've been in these spaces. Nobody's monogamous, okay? The most innocent man you're probably thinking of, the sweetest, quote unquote, if you're not watching on the YouTube, you can't see my quotations. The sweetest, quote unquote, artist you're probably thinking of, yeah, he probably has 3 girls right now. I just want y'all to know that, okay? Okay, cool. But also you should know your place, and you know that everyone is like hyping up Mariah, like, oh, your man is free. I'm so happy you stuck it through. She's so excited. And you posting pictures suggesting that you're also his girl. Girl, why are you embarrassing her? Like, know your place. Like, he gonna see you too, but like later, please. I don't like that at all. Sticking with the conversation of love, this is the other thing that has been trending all over my social media. Love is Blind reunion was last Wednesday. Oh my gosh, I have so much to say about this, y'all. I have so much to say about this. First of all, let's start with Steven and Monica. We're gonna go couple to couple, okay? Couple by couple by couple. Steven and Monica. When Monica met Steven in the pod, he literally called himself a cheater. He said that he was known for cheating, right? And Monica felt like she said it wasn't a green flag, but maybe it was a beige flag, that he actually admitted to it, because none of the cheaters that she had previously been with ever admitted to it before they like officially started dating. Excuse me? What does that mean? Just because if a man who I was going on an early date with told me that he has a history of cheating, I'm sorry. I think that's a warning. I don't think he's like promoting change. I think he's just warning you. He thought he was gonna change, and if you guys watched this season, then you know he did not change. He went to like a sleepaway thing, which people thought was BS, but the reunion showed pictures. It is like a sleep therapy session. And she saw some very freaky, promiscuous text messages between him and another girl. And his story did not make any sense. I hate a liar and a cheater. Like, honestly, like, you've been caught, babe. Just admit to it. Like, tell us what happened. Tell us step by step what happened. And he was just simply not doing that. He was still like trying to low-key cover himself up, but it wasn't working. It wasn't working at all. He was saying that like he deleted the thread, but then later in the reunion, I definitely peeped that he said he never deletes like messages, but you deleted those messages because you were so disgusted by them. Oh, I was so disgusted. He knew this girl for years, but apparently he never like met up with her. Is this a pen pal? Like, I don't really know what's happening. My theory with that situation is Steven was trying to find a way out. First of all, I have a few things about him. Number one, he was a little borderline racist. He definitely called this girl a mutt, which I don't know why that wasn't her at least second red flag. If not second because of the cheating, that should have been your first red flag, baby. He called you a mutt, and I feel like we just skipped right over that. That was crazy. He talks about his racist white family, and he also talked about being a Trump supporter, and how his whole entire life he thought he was Italian because his grandmother wanted to hide his identity, and then he discovered he was black. And you thought that was attractive. Okay, cool. If y'all don't know, Maryland and DC, I can't speak for Virginia, but DC and Maryland's very blue. Well, DC's not a state, I know, but Maryland's a state. Very blue states. DC's blue, Maryland's blue. It's very rare you find a Trump supporter. And Steven is just like outwardly. Anyway, let me not get too much into politics. Also, let me just do a quick side note. I know this sounds like it's going all over the place, Quick side note, I do not know the election results, but I know that this episode is going the day after the election. Is currently Monday when I'm filming. Next week's pod episode, I will be talking about the election results. Trust me, I am just as anxious. Well, you're not anxious because by now you know who won. I am super anxious. I saw a tweet that said it feels like anti-Christmas Eve. Like, yeah, I feel very, very nervous about this election results. Part of me is like, oh yay, like I don't know the results yet. I'm still like living in bliss right now. And another part of me is like, I just need to find out. I'm going to talk all about it in next week's episode. But yeah, I don't want you guys to be like, oh, like you're just ignoring the results. No. I genuinely don't know what the results are quite yet. Okay, going back to Love is Blind. Moving forward to Tim and Alexandra. This felt like another situation of the guy got too deep and he wanted to get out of that relationship. Number one, I am happy that Tim and Alex, they cleared up the whole like her putting her hand on his mouth situation. And because the way that Tim described it, I definitely thought like, is this a DV situation? Like, you know, I do recognize that sometimes people are like very passionate during arguments, and the way he described her putting her hand over his mouth, it kind of gave like, oh, we're putting our hands on people. But she was like, no, I was trying to calm you down, quiet you down because you were yelling so loud that the cameras were going to come in and we didn't want this filmed. Respect, because I do feel like sometimes reality TV does have a bad habit of painting the black couples not in the best light. So I do respect that. But I do now want to better understand, like, what did that argument look like? Like, I kind of wish the cameras were there. I just need to know, like, what were y'all fighting about? I don't even think we know they were fighting about. The only thing that really upset me about that couple was the fact that Tim met Alex's father, who has MS. He was literally crying during the meeting while Tim was asking for permission to marry his daughter. And he said yes. This man can barely talk. He can barely speak. And he was so emotional and so happy for his daughter. And you just robbed that experience for everyone. And also you told her the very next day, you don't want to do this? What, Tim? Like, are you okay? That is crazy. How you should not have met her father. Point blank, period. You should not have met her father. That was very upsetting. He was also upset over her not staying up and like not really engaged with his family. That part I can't understand because Alex, girl, you look like you did not want to be there. And granted, maybe you were tired. Maybe you just like really need to sleep. I'm sure you guys have been filming for hours. I'm sure it was very tiring. I can imagine. With that being said, Tim has made it abundantly clear how important family is to him. And this is literally his only family. It seems like that he has left. And you just did not look excited to meet them. To the point, I'm almost like, did we not see footage? Like, I want to know, did we miss a scene? Like, did they start filming after initial conversations? It almost looks like an argument between maybe her and Tim, or maybe an awkwardness with the family happened and then they started rolling the cameras, but you just look like you did not want to be there, and that wasn't cool at all. Especially knowing or hearing that they drove 10 hours. Now, the napping thing, that was crazy. I don't know, like, that was crazy for him to be so mad about it. I can understand if he was mad because it's like, okay, not only did you barely engage with my family, my parents, but then you took a nap. Okay, I can kind of understand that, but why aren't your parents tired? They just drove 10 hours and they're not young. Like, I too would be tired. I too would want a nap. And then I felt like he started getting a little crazy, not crazy, but like a little silly by like really harping in on this sleeping thing. You're not texting me. Like, okay, you're just looking for an out. Like, you're just stacking problems on top of problems, looking for a way out. And I hated the way that he was talking to her during that conversation. He was not great at communicating. That was a very unfortunate situation. I specifically felt horrible for Alex's dad. I feel like he should have never met her father. That was almost borderline disgusting that he would even meet her father, knowing his health condition, watching him cry, and then to just literally be like, yeah, nope, I don't want to be with you anymore. That is absolutely insane. Okay, going to Garrett and Taylor. This is the couple who won. I have a few things to say about Mr. Garrett. But you know what? The only thing I really want to harp on is why was he so nervous to meet Taylor? When Taylor said she didn't want to say her last name because she didn't want to expose her ethnicity and that she was like mixed with something, that boy was so nervous. He was like borderline sweating and being like, oh, I never dated outside my race. Oh, ugh. Sir, what? Please. I think he thought she was biracial. I think he wouldn't have been as attracted to her if she was a black woman. I'm gonna be honest. He was, I don't know, he made like a really big deal about that, and that was also a little weird, a little concerning. But my big thing I feel like a lot of people were missing on social media is the fact that apparently they've been living in San Diego for like a year and now they're moving back to DC as a compromise. What does it mean? What do you mean by compromise? What was the alternative? Were they going to get a divorce if they couldn't go back to DC? Literally, that's so frustrating because Taylor said from day one, Garrett, I want to live in San Diego to be close to my family. Garrett said, okay, that's fine with me. I'm pretty sure she said it multiple times too. It's because her parents are getting older. She wants to be closer to her family. Garrett's family lives 2 hours outside of DC. So obviously he also wants to live close to his family. But if I told you when we got engaged, like as a warning, hey dude, this is my prereq, like I want to move back to San Diego, you didn't even last a year. Huh? That would, oh my gosh, that's so frustrating. And now she has to compromise with you and you're getting your way and moving back to DC. That's wild. Okay, moving on to the more toxic couples. Dun dun dun. Ramses and Marissa. Actually, I'm not even going to spend that much time on this because they were a mess, okay? Marissa, baby, you were so disappointing. First of all, I was so team Marissa. Literally watching this show, watching her break down and cry was so heartbreaking, borderline triggering. I was like, oof, baby girl, like that was really tough to watch. I will say, I feel like she had a little bit of an inkling because it was kind of confusing to me that she kept asking Ramses, like, hey, are you sure about us? Like, are you sure we're gonna make it to the aisle? She kept asking that question. He kept saying yes, but the fact that she was continuously asking, I'm like, oh, like it's her gut telling her that he doesn't want to continue and make it down the aisle. It was also weird, the whole, I'm not even gonna go into it, but his whole stance with the military and not understanding why she decided to go into, I believe it was the Navy. That was a lot. And also you knew that about me. Like you knew this in the pods. I don't really know, ciao. You know what was tea though? You know what was tea though? Her exposing that they were still sleeping together. I feel like, okay, I like Marissa, but watching the reunion, I was like, oh, is this what Ramses was talking about? Because they are polar opposites, honey. Literally, Ramses, well, first of all, Ramses looked like he didn't even want to be present. He looked like he did not want to be at that reunion. He was so quiet, and Marissa was like out there. But it's also like, you knew this going into the pods. I don't like it when men, they get with a woman, they know their personalities, and then their personalities almost feel too big for them, and it becomes too much for them. And maybe that's why he got out of it, but I just think this could have been avoided pretty early on, and she could have chosen the other guy. I can't remember his name, but the other guy matched her personality, and maybe two big personalities would have been a lot. But it also could have been a lot more successful, if we're being honest. But, oh my gosh. Okay, going back to the whole sleeping thing, did y'all peep her mom's face when she exposed that they were still sleeping with each other? Her mom looked sick. She was like, I have literally, like, helped her back to health, helped her recover from that breakup just to find out that she was still hooking up with you. Yeah, she was oversharing for the public. We did not need to know that. I think I was so disappointed in Marissa for sticking up for Hannah the way that she was. I understand the whole accountability thing, but also I don't understand it. You know what? Let's just get right into it. Let's talk about Hannah and Nick. Let me get closer to the microphone. Hannah and Nick. Girl, I got some things to say about you, Miss Hannah. First of all, as somebody who is a very direct person, I can differentiate between verbal abuse and direct. And what you were, Hannah, is a bully. You were a bully. I don't know if this was like a projection of hers, because even early on, it was very easy to like call out some insecurities that she was having. I think we could all call it out, right? But what I didn't really like is I felt like she just did a big switch when she got out of the pods. And maybe she felt insecure next to Nick, probably because she was like taller than him, right? A little bit bigger than him. And I think when she heard football, she was thinking like, oh, he must be like a big guy, not realizing he's a kicker. He kept saying that he was a kicker in football. Kickers are scrawny, baby. They're very scrawny. So I don't think she was expecting Nick to look like that. And I feel like she was just a little bit insecure about either her looks or also primarily their financial situation. I get it to a certain extent, but it's almost like she was jealous at Nick's family for setting him up the way that they set him up. Now I get it. He's like in what, his mid-20s. You're probably like, why are you still living with your parents, Nick? Why are your parents paying your phone bill? But I feel like the way that she was talking to him was just, there's a way to communicate with people, and that was not it. That was not it at all, okay? First of all, it made no sense. Her talking about, like, are we going to combine phone bills? Are you going to, like, get off your parents' phone bill? He's like, why would I do that? My parents are offering to pay my phone bill. Why would I get off? That's the one less bill I got to worry about. And then she was like, okay, Nick, but what about debt? We got debt. He's like, I don't have debt, but she has debt. Okay. You think I'm going to take on your debt? Like, no. And I do understand with marriage, yes, you do take on your partner's finances. With that being said, the expectation should never be that Nick is paying off her debt. That's not the expectation here. Like, I can help you manage your money, but she was also saying you don't know how to manage your money. So she was saying a lot of crazy things. It was absolutely insane. And every single scene, it looked like Nick was gonna cry. Like, I was physically uncomfortable in every single scene. It was a lot. I also think it's interesting. I saw a clip from Hannah, and I should have known that this was her foreshadowing what she was gonna bring to the reunion. I kid you not. There was a clip of her telling a podcaster, yeah, rewatching myself was very disappointing, but it makes you wonder, like, why was Nick allowing me to be so mean to him? Why was he, like, allowing me to talk to him like that? Excuse me? World's greatest gaslighter, Hannah, what the hell? What do you mean, why did I allow you to treat me like that? Why did I allow you to talk to me like that? You sound crazy. But then at the reunion, she says, me and my friends were cleaning up and we saw your diary. It wasn't his diary, but his journal. And one of the top 3 things that he listed is that he wanted to be Love is Blind famous. Girl, you quit your job to be on this reality show. You're telling me at your young age, wasn't Hannah like 24 years old? You're telling me at 24 years old, you went on Love is Blind genuinely like, oh, this is my last resort, let me get married? You're telling me you did not go on Love is Blind with the intent of getting a couple followers? What? You're on a reality show. Are you kidding me? You knew what this was, and it's season 7. I understand if you were like Lauren and Cameron, season 1 winners. Or if you were like, even maybe I'll give you season 2. Season 3's pushing it. Season 1 and 2, okay, you're probably not going on there not looking for anything other than love, right? And just testing the experiment. Season 7, you know what's going to happen. You know the brand deals are going to come in. You know you're going to become an influencer. You literally risk your job. You quit your job to go on a reality show, and you're not even 30. You had time. Girl, download Hinge. Download Raya, okay? Like, you had time to search outside of the pods for love. You're telling me that you're not on this show to be seen? Really? Really? I don't believe that. I find that really hard to believe. It's a reality show. And 2, we're not going to skip over the fact that you read through his private possessions. You read his journal. Why didn't nobody on that stage call her out for that? What? I hate defending a man. I hate that Hannah is literally making me defend a man right now. That is not me whatsoever, but you went through his personal belongings. Why did no one call her out? I feel like everybody was just like skimming past that and calling out Nick. And then the whole conversation about, oh my God, you called her a grenade. Hannah, you are a grenade. You yelled at him every single opportunity that you got. Now, if he was talking about looks, that's crazy. Also, everybody keeping a poker face was also funny. Okay, he wasn't attracted to you. Okay. He also... sorry. I'm sorry. I'm laughing about the fact that they're saying that he called her a grenade. When I heard grenade, I wasn't thinking about her looks. I was thinking about her personality, because it does give grenade. Like, you literally was yelling at Nick every single opportunity. I turned you to a man, Nick. I turned you from a boy to a man, Nick. Like, that was you every 5 seconds. Do you even know finances? Do you even know how to pay a bill, Nick? Nick? Do you even know what a stock market is, Nick? Ugh, Nick. Like, shut up. It did give grenade, but I don't know about looks. Looks, no. Like, she's a nice looking girl. I think that you guys just weren't expecting each other, and that's fair. Hannah, you also said that he wasn't attractive. You also talked about sexual things that he wasn't doing with you. I'm not going to get into that, but she did talk about a lot of their personal life that he explicitly said he didn't want out on this television, or like talking about on national TV. Is this national TV? Is streaming? Do we count Netflix as national TV? Let me know. I could be wrong about that. I'm just saying, she also said a lot of mean things to Nick, and she also said not the greatest things about him on the show. At least he didn't call her unattractive on the show and try to embarrass her, right? He was having a private conversation with one of his guy friends, and it just got back to you. Are you kidding? What did you say about him privately? I know, I'm sure, am I a villain? Because I sure as hell had conversations with plenty of my girlfriends about guys I've gone on dates with, or guys that I've met out that were interested in me, and I might not have been interested in them, but I'm not going to say that to their face. I'm going to talk to my friends about it and be like, girl, I don't know, what you think? I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Like, these are normal conversations to be having with your friends. It's not like he literally went all around the I just said Love Island cast. All around the Love is Blind cast saying Hannah is this, Hannah is that. That's actually what Hannah was doing. But you just heard some tea about a private conversation, and honestly, Ramses should have kept that to himself. Bro code? What the hell, Ramses? You broke bro code, if we're being honest. Like, why did you tell Marissa? You knew Marissa was going to spread that. Come on out. I know Marissa can't hold water. You knew she was going to share that with all her homegirls, and that is on you for sharing his business. He was having a private chat with his guy friends. Like, is that a crime? Oh, I hate defending a man. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. Let me move on. Let me no longer defend a man. Let's move on to the last couple, Tyler and Ashley. Trust me, Tyler, I ain't defending you whatsoever. So I hope everyone is up to date on the drama with this couple. We know that Tyler actually was not a sperm donor. He did that for one kid, but then he naturally conceived. Yes, he had sex with this woman and had twins, making him the father. Honestly, when he stepped up, when the wife and the wife got a divorce with the mother of the child, like, it kind of gave father then, but then you proceeded to have more kids. So you're making a commitment. Am I wrong? Like, am I tripping? Do I not understand, like, how this works? Like, okay, the first one I kind of understand and does kind of give sperm donor. You're just doing a good thing for your two friends. Although I won't lie, I did hear about the wife's point of view, the other wife's point of view, and how apparently there's, like, speculation about potential cheating going on. She was a little sus when she came back from a work trip and the wife ended up pregnant, but was just happy nonetheless. Look, we ain't even got to go into all those details. All I know is the moment you naturally conceived, you stepped in, you started helping raise that child, then you naturally conceived twins. That is your child. Those are your children. There are matching PJ literal, like, videos and pictures of you guys on Facebook. You cannot tell me the Love is Blind producers and whoever does the casting did not know this information. I know for a fact they knew that information. And people can pull this up on Facebook. I know they did background checks. I know they knew that. They knew it was going to be some drama. It was also very intentional that they showed Ashley and Tyler in matching PJs, just like he was in his with his children. This is all very intentional. But what I don't understand is I don't like how Ashley's point of view was, I'm gonna stick beside my man. Do y'all think I'm dumb? I know he wasn't lying to me about the sperm donor. When he said that he didn't know, he didn't see his kids, he's clearly lying, but I knew we had to talk about it on the show. Okay, girl. Okay, girl. But I just feel like we're still missing a big point here, and I'm mad that the host didn't even ask this question. What about the twins? I understand with the first child, yes, that was a sperm donor situation. I got that. The second one, it was not. You naturally conceived those kids. You had those children. Those are your children. And why is this mother saying that you haven't seen your children since you went on the show? You haven't seen your kids in a year. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I don't like that Ashley's low-key kind of gaslighting us and telling us, you don't know what you know. You don't know what's going on in our personal relationship, which is true. But telling us what we're not clearly seeing and what other parties are exposing. You're making it seem like it was a situation where, he just got too deep with her and he just wanted to step in because he grew up in a single family household. He knows what that's like. He didn't want that for the kid. You're forgetting about the twins, baby. There's more kids and not just that one. Why are we ignoring the freaking twins? Okay, my camera's about to die. I'm going to quickly hop right into Wise Vibes. This is an opportunity to answer questions that I receive or Reddit questions right now because honestly, I haven't received any questions yet. Feel free to DM me on Instagram any questions and I will answer them anonymously. But until I start to build an audience, I'm just going to grab questions from Reddit. Let's get right into it. I'm getting my first big check for my new job and I want to keep it to myself, but I can't because my boyfriend has shit money problems. So after he's done paying his portion of rent, he doesn't have money for anything else and I have to spend the money I was going to treat myself with on his mistakes. I'm getting tired of this. I haven't had my nails done in so long or bought a Shein cart. What should I do? Should I leave this man? I don't know if the recommendation is leave him completely, but my recommendation would be 1, don't pay for his mistakes. They're his mistakes, right? 2, I wonder, did you know about his financial problems before you decided to live with him? That was a bit of a mistake. I wouldn't have recommended that. Also, you just hit 1 year. It's a little bit early to be living with your partner if you ask me. However, we are beyond that. You can't fix that part, right? So let's focus on what we can fix, and that is the current money issue. What extra things are you paying for? He has financial issues. You're saying after he pays his portion of rent, he can't afford anything else. Are you paying his credit card bills? Are you paying his student loans? Like, what are you exactly paying for here? 1. 2, are you saying you're paying like your portion of rent and the utilities? I feel like I need more information here. Like, what are we exactly paying for? If it is his credit card and student loans or whatever the case it may be, stop doing that because he's not going to learn his lesson. If anything, he's not going to learn how to better manage his money. He's just going to continue making more mistakes because he knows his girlfriend can cover it. If you're worried about like covering the dates that you guys go on or the dinners that you guys go on, I would cut all of that out. And then I would provide guidance on maybe how he can better manage his money. Or if you're not the right person to provide that guidance, then I would recommend maybe providing some resources for him. There's plenty of online resources, plenty of podcasts or YouTube channels that teaches people money management. But you definitely have to stop paying for his mistakes or else he's not going to stop, you know? They become too comfortable. It's almost like you're enabling him by doing that. I would stop that right there. I don't think you should leave him, but if you stop paying for his mistakes and you don't see any improvement, then I'll have the conversation of maybe we shouldn't be together. Also, if he doesn't have much money after he pays his portion of rent, are you guys living above your means? That's my other question. Like, maybe he can't afford the apartment that you guys live in and the half of rent that you guys live in. I don't know if my recommendation is that you pay more in rent. Typically, people do go based on, like, what does the income look like for both partners, and they split it up that way. I understand not wanting to do that. But with that being said, it does sound like he can't afford where you guys currently live. I don't know when your lease is up. I would consider finding a new place if you feel like you still want to live with him. Or I would recommend no longer living with him. And so that way his responsibilities don't become yours, if that makes sense. Because the other thing that worries me is like, oh, he struggles with money management. God forbid there's a month where he misses rent. Now you're paying double the rent. And that could just be strictly because he knows that you'll cover it because you have thus far. So cut that out. Stop covering his mistakes. They are his mistakes. He needs to learn from them. Y'all are living on your own together. So clearly you're grown enough where he needs to learn. He's not getting any younger. But finances, I feel like is the number one. I feel like finances is the number one issue, argument starter, the lead to divorce, the lead to breakups in all relationships. So I highly, highly recommend this next year of your guys' relationship, you really work on that because you don't want to get to marriage and it becomes your issue. For real, for real. But the fact that you're also asking if you should break up with him, I would say no, not yet. I would give it like 3 to 6 more months, see if you see any improvements. But I would ask like, why else are you asking about leaving? I mean, you really could. You guys really could break up because again, you're not married. It's not death do us part. So is that how it goes? Death do us apart until death do us apart, right? I think that's how it goes. It's not giving that. You absolutely can walk away. And if you're asking if you should, you're probably at the point where you want to. So don't be afraid to, okay? But yeah, that was episode 2. I feel like this episode was primarily about like gossiping about all the pop culture stuff that's happening. I didn't touch too much music. Next episode is going to be all about music. It's going to be about female rap, hip hop. I'm also going to have a special guest. I'm so excited for you guys to listen to it. Again, if you guys have any questions, please drop it in my Instagram. All of those links are going to be in this description. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed. And I'm going to catch you guys next week. Hopefully in next week's episode, I'm feeling happy. I'm so scared for this campaign election. Thank you guys so much for listening. And I'm going to catch you guys next week. Bye.